So in the following of our tutorials, we want to set some styles for our application, which was adding the classmates. And if you remember, we worked on updating, deleting, creating the database and all of this stuff about the application, which was called the CRUD application. So here we can add different classmates. As you can see, I've added some styles to this application so that it is much more beautiful and also easier to work with. As you can see here, we had a classmate and we had a simple table without any navbar, horizontal navbar on the top. And we also had this classmate right here, but I've added some styles in order to change this. So the reason we've added this to the navbar is that imagine we have a very long list of our classmates and we have to scroll down in order to add a new classmate. So I've added it to the top so that you can easier click on the button and go to the page related to adding the classmates. We can also set some styles for here, but here, in order to make our tutorials shorter, I've just added these styles for the classmates page. You can add the other ones for the other pages as well. So here in the code, I'm going to show you how I did it. But before that, let's also omit these parts related to adding the classmates. So let's get back to the code, and here let us look at our code. So I can easily omit this part, save this, and we won't have add member on the bottom. And as you can see here, we don't have it anymore. But here we have two or three set of styles. One of them is the navbar. So we've created a list in our HTML, and then we connected those to our styles about the navbar. So let me start with that part. So inside of our HTML index.html file, and what I've done here is to add some styles and also add some links related to those styles. Added the meta, and then inside of our style for the body, I've created a tag, but we don't necessarily need to add this part. Also for H1, in order to set it in the center, our title in the center, we used to have classmates right here on the left, but now it's in the center. And the reason it has been changed is this H1 right here. Also, for the tables, which I'm going to get to that, we have some styles. But let's get to our navbar. So the navbar starts from here, and it is about list. So it is about unordered list tag, which is down here related to our navbar. So in the navbar we have active, we have our home, which is the main page related to our classmates. It can also have a reference, so you can add a link to this. This is classmates, right? Classmates, and it has double S. Okay, so let me check urls.py to make sure that is fine. Okay, it's inside of our classmates, our application, URLs, and here we have classmates, which is, okay, it is inside of here, urls.py, classmates. There we go. So probably we don't need to add anything because here the URLs, we don't have that. But anyway, let's get back to our index.html. Save this. We do not necessarily need to put anything. I can press Ctrl Z, and when we don't have any link, we can just put hashtag and then the name of whatever we want. Doesn't really matter, but I've set it to active because once we're on this page, we want this home right here be active, right? So this is the main page. We don't need to write any reference for that, any URL for that. so we can put nothing. So let me try this, and it should be fine. Let us try it. Okay, let us add the classmates actually. So press on the home, nothing really happens, so we need to add the classmates. Okay, classmates, and there we go. So here I'm going to add classmates. Let us save this and try this. Refresh it one more time. So probably we don't need to write anything, because it will add another classmates URL after the classmates. So if nothing worked, you can just set hashtag in there and it will be fine. So let's try this, and now it's fine. Once you write nothing inside of it, it will reference to this classmates app. So okay, there we go, we have it right here. Once I add classmates, we go to here, we can add another navbar in order to be redirect to our main page classmates. So there we go. So now let's get back to our styles. So let me explain the rest. So here we wanted to add a navbar, so we added the class top nav, which we have explained. I'm going to explain in our styles, but here we have unordered list and the list items tags, which is related to our navbar. So if I want to add, for example, another reference about, for example, contact with us in our navbar on the top, for example, here I want to add another item, I can write contact us, and then I can add another item, li tag, and write exactly the same things, with the difference that we write contacts and then another HTML file related to that item. Okay, so that's how we write the HTML code related to a navbar, and then in the styles we will address top nav, and here we will just work on the li tags. So as you can see, ul.topnav, and then we have added some styles related to the list, margin, padding, overflow, and then background color, right? You can change the background color too. And then we have the other related styles, such as list item, and this is for the reference, a tag, and then let me show you the a tag inside of our li tags right over here. As you can see, we have a tags as well, because we want to reference the addresses, for example, our home and our add classmates. So we've added the URL of adding the classmates, add URL, which was inside of our urls.py in our application. So I think it was here, yes. It is add, and it is related to adding the new members. So we've added the name of this reference right over here. We can also write two curly brackets and write the name of the link. So we don't necessarily have to write the link or the URL itself. So let's get back to where we were. It was inside of the index at HTML, and then we have other styles related to the navbar. So nothing really fancy if you are familiar with CSS. So we need to align the text to the center inside of our list items. So as you can see right here, if we have a navbar, that any kind of writing there is, it is in the center, not right, not left, but in the center. It's also true about our tables once I get to there. So text align equals to center is always there for us to set it to the center. And we have all of these different other styles related to top nav, so you can easily add them over here and have your navbar. We also have, for tables, we have table tag, right? And then we've added some styles for the table. For the th and td tags, we have align to the center, and also we have the pixels for the paddings. We also have other ones for th and tr tags, the background color, the text align, and then from here on it's about the navbar. So there's nothing fancy about CSS. You just need to find the codes related to those exact parts and add to your HTML code, or write it inside of a different file, call it .css, style.css, and reference it here. And as you can see, it's very easy to work with. So here I'm going to do the same thing what we did about the navbar right inside of our add classmates page, so that if we don't want to add any classmates, we will be redirected to our classmates page, which shows us the table, right? So let me go to add.html. Here we're going to copy and paste some of our codes from index.html. So now let us copy these two set of lines here for the beginning, also head and style. And let us copy all of them together, and then we will remove the tables, right? So up to the style and head over here. I'm going to copy all that is related to style and paste it inside of our add.html. And then I'm going to remove the ones related to our tables. However, if you put them over here, nothing really changes and there will be no problem, right? So, but I'm going to preferably remove them. So I'm also going to keep the h1 tag because I'm going to need it. So because we have h1 tag over here, we want to set in the center, and so let us also add our HTML codes related to the list. Copy and paste it inside of our add.html. And there's a little bit difference between this one and the ones in the index.html, and that is class active. So inside of our home, we wanted to activate the home in the navbar, which was green, but now we want to set the add classmate here active instead of home, because we are in the page related to that part, right? So let me copy and paste it over here. So this is activated, and as a result, this shouldn't be activated. Okay, so everything is set and okay. So let's save the code and here refresh the page. And as you can see here, this one is activated, but this one is not activated, right? So if I click on this one on the home, so we need to find a way in order to somehow be redirected to our classmates page. So I should find a way for that. Now we can, instead of that, I can write, let's get back to index.urls.py. And here we had the name index, right? So instead of writing the URL, we can write the name of the URL. So let's get back to add here, and right over here I can write the double curly brackets, and then here I can write index just as it is. So also URL is needed here. So URL, and then we should write apostrophes over index. So I guess this is the right code, but let's check. Let's see if there's any problem with this syntax here, and let us refresh the page. So yes, there's a syntax error. So probably I need to fix this one, and yes, this is for the URL. So here I need another percent right over here at the end. There we go, and this should be fine. Let us try. So we have 1% over here, the other right over here, and this should work, I think. So let me save this code and refresh the page. Still there is a problem. So now another thing that needs to change is to remove one of the curly brackets. So we don't need two curly brackets, one is enough. And now this should be fine. Let us try. So now everything worked well, and let's get back to home. As you can see, it worked, and so we can easily switch between the add classmates and home. We can also set some styles for this form. We can set them to the center right over here and make it even more beautiful. So let's work on that. So now I've added some changes to this form add.html code. So as you can see, we had these styles right here for the navbar, but I've added some new styles here related to inputs. So as you can see, we have the inputs and we have all of these styles related to that. We have input for text and input for submit, and also we have the input submit for hover. So once we go to the button will have a color, and then it will have some kind of effect. Also, I've put a container right over here so that it has a color, and so I'm going to refer to this in our HTML code with a div tag. So we have a div tag and then the class called container. So I've added the class in the CSS2 and also close the tag. And as you can see here, I've changed the input type to text. There was nothing here, but I've written the type text in order to be able to get the effect that we have. Also here, the type submit was over here, so I didn't need to add it. We need to add type equals to text for this input too. One for first name and the other for the last name. And there we go. So we added the class container for the HTML code, type text, and also the styles in our 3 or 4 styles for our form. 1, 2, 3, and 4. 3 for the inputs and 1 for the class container. Right, so let's save the code, and here you will be able to see this form right over here. As you can see, it's a very beautiful form and much better than that HTML-like form. So let's get back to our home. As you can see, we have all of these tables and beautiful styles. Let's get back to our add classmates and add a new name, right? For example, let's add Jane, or let's add another name which is different, Mike, and Brown, for example, Mike Brown, and save this. And as you can see, we have added another name. So imagine we want to delete Brad, right? Brad Thompson. And imagine that we want to fix Mike. So I need to also modify this update the classmate page as well. So I want to change this to Michael and update it. and as you can see, it's been updated, so everything works very well. So for practice, you can set the add classmates styles, exactly these styles to our update. So for example, you want to update Mariana to Mary, right? So you want to change the styles right here in order to make it more beautiful. For practice, you can change the styles related to this page. And up to now, let's pause the video and you can work on the CSS. And after you resume the video, I will show you how you can do this. So now I assume that you've done it. So also let me change this to Mary, and update it, for example. Okay, now let's go to do what you've practiced and see if you've done it well, and if you had any problems, you can refer to this part. So I'm going to copy all of these styles from this page. Whatever there is inside of our styles, copy and paste it inside of our updates.html right over here and on the top before h1 tag. So let's paste it over here and go to the top. There we go. And then we need to add also whatever that was related to the navbar. So we had some list, right? So let me just find a list. Okay, there we go. It's right over here. So let me copy this part, and also we need to add this div over here inside of our updates.html. Okay, and so there we go. Also in our form, we need to add our div class equals container, and then close the div tag. So I guess that's it. Also we need to add type equals text for input for the first name and the last name, and the type is text, also text for here. So I guess that's it. Let's try this part and see if there's any problem. So here, let's get back to our update, and as you can see, our update has been changed. So here you can again make it Mariana, update it, everything very well. Also, if you want to update this one and then you quickly understand that you don't need to do this, you can head over to the table, right? You can cancel this. Or you can go to your updates and remember that you don't need to update it, you need to add a new classmate, right? So here is a problem, and probably we need to fix something in our code. So I know what the problem is, and okay, let us debug our code. Here we can write our URL this way, which is much better than write it in the URL type like this, right? So because it will directly redirect us to the page that we want. So imagine that we want to get to the add classmate, right? So here I can easily write add, and we won't have any problem anymore. Also, we can do this inside of our index.html. So let us do both for the both ones, and also for here. URL add, and so I can just copy it over here, So the names of these URLs will help you not to mix up everything, because once you write the URLs like this in the DTL type, it will be much easier and better to manage than the URLs that you write. Because imagine that you are in a different kind of a URL and you want to be redirected to a very different kind of URL, right? And then you will be somehow confused. But this way you will be able to find the exact URL with the kind of name that you have defined inside of your urls.py. So here I should write add, and I guess that's the right one. So let me check. Here we had the add. Okay, it's all right. So we have saved all of our templates. Now let's retry. So here, if I go to add, I need to refresh too. Okay, now let's go to update and then go to add. As you can see, we've changed it to add. Also here we need to, for the update, we need to deactivate the add classmate, because we are not in the add classmates, we are in the update the classmates, right? And we don't need any update classmates right here on the above, because we don't know for which student we're going to update the classmates. So here we just need to remove, inside of our updates.html, we need to remove the class active for the add classmate. Okay, let's save this and refresh the page. As you can see, none of these are active anymore in this page, but once you are in the add classmate, this one is active. Once you go to home, home is active, and again try. So now everything has been fixed and we have a complete application for adding the classmates. You can add as many classmates as you want. You can see them here in the table, and you can update or delete each of the classmates. And this is a complete application, and the very first CRUD application that you've learned how to work with, how to create the back end and the front end. And if you have followed along with the tutorials up to here, congratulations. And so in the next tutorials, we're also going to teach you how you can complete your complete website, such as adding login and adding registration, how to create a RESTful API, how to write the backend so that another front end can come along and develop the React application or Vue.js application, and you just work on the backend. So hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and that's it.